Hello, everybody. Captain Marty here. It's Wednesday, January the 29th. We have almost knocked January in the head. And yes, it's the dead of winter. But man, if I got some fishing to talk to you about, I'll be back to do that in just a second.
Locally owned and operated since 1971, Billy's Seafood has been providing the locals and visitors of the Outer Banks with some of the freshest seafood you'll find. Not too far off the beaten path down Collington Road in KDH, Billy's Seafood has become a landmark for those seeking top-notch seafood at affordable prices. Billy's Seafood also has beer, wine, grandma's tuna salad, and other groceries as well. To see more, go online to billyseafoodobx.com. Billy's Seafood, putting fresh seafood on your table for over 50 years.
When it comes to general maintenance or major modifications on your diesel vehicle, look no further than Wanchi's Off-Road Diesel Performance in Kill Devil Hills. Master mechanic Ryan Walker developed the plan for having his own auto shop over 20 years ago, and today he owns the premium diesel performance powerhouse of the Outer Banks. To have him and his crew take a look under your hood, give him a call today at 252-715-0025 or find him on social media. Wanchi's Off-Road Diesel Performance, the diesel performance powerhouse of the Outer Banks.
Well, we don't have a lot of variety in the catches, but what fish we're going to talk about some really good numbers in those type of fisheries. We'll start right out with the offshore fishing, and we continue to have a lot of bluefin tuna. Now, whether you're in Ocracoke or Hatteras or Oregon Inlet, there's a wide variety in the size ranges, and we're getting really close to the quotas being met. And the season might shut down as far as capturing and bringing to the dock a bluefin tuna. However, a lot of that is catch and release anyway. And keep in mind, I'm an old meat fisherman, mostly on yellowfin tuna. But man, I can't even imagine letting loose a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 800 pound tuna and watching it swim away. But good on them. I mean, hopefully they'll go out and spawn and make a bunch more tunas. But bluefin tuna fishing is good. We've had fish up to 1,000 pounds. We've had a lot of those are what we call the giant bluefins, and that's roughly 400 pounds plus, something like that. And then we have a bunch of the smaller size fish, and they are governed by different laws and different regulations. But you can right now on a charter boat still keep one of those per day. So anyway, it's an incredible strike, an incredible thing to see a fish that big, and you still have a little bit of time left to go out and do it if you get a chance. So think about that a little bit. And I mentioned we had some other stuff too. Believe it or not, there's a really good puppy drum bite down on Hatteras Island and down on Ocracoke. They're being caught on all kinds of gear, on bait, synthetic and natural bait, on lures, and several guys down there are doing really well fly fishing for them. It has to be really calm for that, but we had a couple really calm days. They can see the fish right in the wash up close, and fish are starving, so they throw out a fly on a fly rod and have a big time catching a puppy drum in the surf. It's hard to believe that I'm talking about that right now. Of course, we had a warm spell of weather that showed up, and that will kind of put an end, so to speak, to a lot of our activity around the sound, but not all of it. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. What else? I had something else. Before we jump back into the backcountry, I had something else to talk to you about as well. This is the time of year when we start seeing a lot of sharks in the catches, and they're mostly small biters, but some of those sharks are good to eat. I'm not a big shark fan, but people whose opinions I really trust eat a lot of them. So you got that going on. There's a few ocean rockfish being caught further up the beach, north of Oregon Inlet. And the one thing I do not have a report on is how that shrimping is going in the ocean. I did not get a report yesterday, and I don't want to give a false report. I'll do some checking around today, and I'll have to get back with you on that. But we do have some important stuff to talk about in the backcountry. I'll be back to do that in just a second. Hey y'all, Captain Marty here to tell you that when my friends are in the market for a new boat engine or repair, I send them to the best, and that's at Ratcliffe Marine in Belhaven. Ratcliffe Marine is your official Yamaha outboard dealer. Yamaha motors are designed to get you on the water fast and get you back to the dock whenever you're ready. Ratcliffe Marine is also the largest repower center in North Carolina. So when you're in the market for a new motor or need your Yamaha service, go to Ratcliffe Marine, 865 Highway 264 in Belhaven. All right, the big news in the Pamlico Sound is the trout. a lot of different water bodies. We have coastal, we have joint, and we have inland waters in our area, and the laws vary a little bit on speckled trout. We do have a cold stun event, and it turns out it's pretty major. I talked to a friend of mine that went out scouting for one of the governing agencies, and there was thousands upon thousands of cold stunned dead fish, dead or almost dead. So that's being watched carefully, like always. But there are some inland areas where the trout are still biting, and you got to make sure you're in an inland area, and you got to be real careful about catching them in the inland area and then crossing the joint waters to get back to your boat landing. So know the law before you go do any of that. But the cold stun event, I'm not here to tell you about laws or what I think about the length of the closures or anything like that. But I will tell you that it's a significant event. Now, yes, we got some warm weather this week. And man, if we had just had this last week, we might not have had those issues that we had. But we did have a lot of cold weather, a lot of cold water down around 50 degrees, and then colder than that into the 40s, which is a little more than those speckled trout could handle. But that's about the long and the short of it. As we around the corner in winter, we get into February, we're looking at seeing a few more puppy drums starting to show back up in the sound. And crappie season is here. That'll be any day now. I'm expecting that to bust loose a little bit. And then it's time to start thinking about your summer charters. What do you want to do? I always do recommend try not to go on a weekend if you can help it, because there's especially offshore fishing, a lot more boats, a lot more fishing pressure. It tends to drive tunas and other fish down. And you're much better to go in the middle of the week if you're booking a trip. So keep that in mind. And also remember to have an alternative day to fish in case you get blown out. Always good, especially if you're coming a long distance and you want to book a charter. Let's just say you want to book it on a Tuesday. Well, instead of traveling home on Wednesday, leave that day where if you're able to get your trip in on Tuesday, yeah, sure, we'll head home on Wednesday. But if for some reason you got blown out and the weather was bad, like it sometimes is in the spring and fall, leave Wednesday as a day you can do an alternative day. You might not be able to get on the same boat, but you'll get on a good boat and still go fishing. You might have to drive back to Ohio in the middle of the night, but at least you won't turn around and go all the way back without getting offshore, hopefully. So keep that in mind when you book your trips. Everything else is kind of a quiet time of year right now. Things are settled down. Duck season getting ready to wind up. The main waterfowl season is going to wind up, I think it's on Friday. It'll end up this week. And over here in Hyde County, I can go back to sleeping in on a Saturday morning, and a lot of shooting going on in my neck of the woods. But that's really all I have for you in the report for today. Weather's beautiful. Enjoy the warm up a little bit. Give your heaters, your heat pumps, and your wood stoves a little rest, and have a great day.